Hi everyone. In this video, we are going to start with the next identity, that is a cube plus b cube. There are different versions that exist for this identity. Okay, there will be two patterns that you can see in various books. So just see that what we are going to do over here. Though the pattern for this video is also going to be same as per the previous identity based videos: proof, expand, factorize, and then yes, at the end we again have some surprise questions, because I have told in the previous one also that as we keep on moving on with the identities, we will be having some questions which are going to club different identities. Okay, and that becomes really important. Those are actually the questions which have higher worth. So just observe how we do everything. Okay, starting with the proof. Now, first of all, what is the expansion? X cube plus y cube. Okay, the identity says x plus y in the first bracket. The second bracket is x square minus xy plus y square. This is the expansion, right? Now, talking about proof, that is how do we get it? So first of all, we will start with x plus y whole cube when we talk about the proof over here, right? We have already learned a plus b whole cube, right? So we are going to apply that expansion over here. It was x cube plus y cube plus 3xy, and in bracket we had x plus y, right? So now what I'm going to do from here, I'm going to shift this term onto the left hand side, and that gives us x plus y whole cube minus 3xy bracket x plus y, and that leaves us with x cube plus y cube on the right side, right? Now, what we can see over here, that x plus y is a common factor. So I'm going to take it out. Now, taking that out leaves us with x plus y over here. And inside we have got x plus y whole square, because initially it was whole cube. So when I took x plus y from whole cube, I'm left with just a square, right? So x plus y whole square minus 3xy being the second term equals x cube plus y cube, right? Now what I'm going to do over here, I'm going to expand x plus y whole square inside the square bracket. So that leaves us with x plus y out. Inside we get x square plus y square plus 2xy minus 3xy equals x cube plus y cube, right? Now, the expansion finally we are getting is x plus y in the outer bracket. In the inner bracket, what do we have? See, 2xy minus 3xy. We can simplify these two terms. So that leaves us with x square plus y square minus xy. And hence, we got the expansion, what we had written on top, right? Okay, now I have told you that in different books, you will have different versions. What are the two versions? One of the versions that I am doing over here, and the other version that you may find is actually just this one. So just the replacement of the earlier identity of a plus b whole cube, which we had learned, when you transpose things that we have done in this step. So this gives you x cube plus y cube. This is being used by various books, by various teachers. But when we talk about factorization, if the students are actually not taught about this expansion, then what they have to do with each factorization question, you will have to do all these steps, and it doesn't make sense, right? It doesn't make sense because it will make your question lengthy. You're not going to get any extra marks. So I will personally recommend you to follow this expansion for x cube plus y cube. Okay. Now, starting with the questions. The first question says expand. Now, when we are expanding, what we have is the expanded side already, right? This is x plus 2y, x square over 4 minus xy plus 4y square. It's given to us. So what we need to do actually, we need to go back to a cube plus b cube form. Okay. And how do we do that? We just don't need to do anything. We'll write the original identity. we know that a cube plus b cube equals a plus b into a square minus ab plus b square. This is what we just learned, right? So now the question says x plus 2y. So the bracket also says, the bracket over here, what does it say? X upon 2 whole square, right? Now, this was that. And this last term, 4y square, is giving me 2y whole square, right? How do we get xy in between? When I just multiply x by 2 into 2y, right? Right? So if I consider that if I'm cancelling this 2, I'm just left with xy, right? So that means what we are left with, a plus b, right? I think the question is slightly wrong. It should have been x by 2 over here, right? Right. So we get x by 2 whole cube. Sorry. And 2y whole cube, right? Now, moving on with the next part. So what we have over here, 3x plus 4y, 9x square minus 12xy plus 16y square, right? So what does that gives us? Identity we have already written on top. So 3x plus 4y remains as it is. In the next bracket, we can easily see it is 3x square minus. Then moving on to the last term before the middle term, that is 4y whole square, right? Now, how can we actually factorize 12xy? 12xy can be considered a product of 3x and 4y, right? So what does this gives us? This is my a, this is my b, because a square minus ab plus b square, right? So hence, we just simply get our answer, which is 3x whole cube plus 4y whole cube. And we can write the final answer after this step as 27x cube plus 64y cube. And that also actually reminds me, I forgot to write the final answer on the top. It is going to be x upon 8, sorry, x cube upon 8 plus 8y cube being the final answer, right? So this is when we are talking about the identity of a cube plus b cube, this is how you expand. Because see, why is it called expanded form? The reason being what you have over here, this is a cube plus b cube. These are not the factors. So that is why this is called as expansion. We started with factors and we have moved on to get the terms which are separated with addition and subtraction, and hence it is expansion. Okay. Now, the next set of questions we have over here in this video is direct factorization. There are no questions which actually belong to finding the value or evaluating. Okay. So starting with this, pretty easy. We can see the terms directly. First we have 1 and then we have 64x cube, right? So 1 is basically 1 cube. And what is 64? 64 is a cube for 4, right? So we have 4x whole cube. Now what do we get? We have 1 plus 4x in the first bracket. The second bracket gives us 1 square minus 1 into 4x plus 4x whole square, right? So we get 1 plus 4x and then 1 minus 4x plus 16x square. And guys, that's all. This is the answer. So when you're factorizing something with respect to a cube plus b cube, it is as simple as that. Nothing else to do over here, right? Moving on with the next. Okay. This question is slightly different because you can see that we have x plus 1 whole cube, then x minus 1 whole cube. I know every time we are inclined that we should be expanding the first bracket, we should be expanding the second bracket. But I have told earlier also, if you follow that method over here, that we expand the first bracket, you expand the second bracket, you will be able to simplify, but you will not be able to factorize. So how do we start? Let x plus 1 equals a and x minus 1 equals b. This is what we do, right? So what do we have? We have got a cube plus b cube, right? Now, so what do we need? The expansion of a cube plus b cube equals a plus b times a square minus ab plus b square. This is what we want, right? So let's substitute the values now. And where do we substitute the values? We will be substituting the values on the right-sided expansion or the factors that we have just written. Okay, so starting with it. Now a plus b means x plus 1 plus x minus 1. This is our first bracket. The second bracket is x plus 1 whole square because it was a square minus x plus 1 into x minus 1 plus we have x minus 1 whole square. Clear? Now, in the first bracket, we can see 1 and 1 getting cancelled. We are left with 2x from the first bracket. In the second bracket, what we need to do, we need to expand x plus 1 whole square and x minus 1 whole square also. Okay, so starting with that, we get x square plus 1 plus 2x. Okay, now what do we get in the middle term over here? It's a product of x plus 1 into x minus 1. Quickly recall what you think it should be. It is x square minus 1 square, your third identity of a square minus b square, right? So we get, I'm putting it in bracket, x square minus 1 square. Now, expanding the third term, which is x minus 1 whole square, and that gives me x square plus 1 minus 2x, right? See, I have used brackets wherever there was a negative outside to be expanded. The first expansion of x plus 1 whole square, I did not put it in bracket because everything was positive and there was no negative outside waiting for them. Okay. So now, the next step, 2x, keep waiting outside. Now, x square plus 1 plus 2x minus x square minus and minus turns positive 1 minus x square minus 1 plus 2x. So here we have expanded everything inside your square bracket. And now we will see which all terms are ready for translation. X square, finished. 1, 1, finished. And yeah, that's all, right? So what do we have? 2x outside. Now in the second bracket, we have 1 plus 2x and 2x getting added. So 4x and last is minus x squared. Now, do you think that we can simplify this further? No, we are not left with any like terms. The quotient was factorized. So we have got our two factors. The first one being 2x, the second one being 1 plus 4x minus x squared, right? So this is how this quotient needs to be done. Because if you actually apply the a plus b whole cube identity in the beginning and then a minus b whole cube identity, that will lead you to simplification. You can try doing it using those identities, and believe me, you will get onto simplification mode and not the factors. Your whole effort will go waste if you do that in your exam. So this needs to be done by only this identity of a cube plus b cube. Okay. Now, moving on with the next question. What is this? This is first term is a cube, which is pretty direct. Then we have 2 root 2 b cube. Tell me quickly, which term do you see over here being a cube for which it is 2 root 2 b cube? Think till I write. It is root 2 b whole cube. Because when you multiply root 2 with root 2 with root 2, what do you get? These will become 2 and the third will become root 2. So you are getting 2 root 2. Hence, the cube of root 2 is 2 root 2. Okay. So what we have? We have got a cube minus b cube, right? So what do we do now? Okay, this should have been plus, right? So what do we get now? We have a plus root 2b, right? And What next? A square minus AB. So A into root 2B plus B square, that is root 2B square. This is how you get, right? So the final answer now, A plus root 2 in the first bracket. Second bracket results in A square minus root 2 AB. And what is the square of root 2B? That is 2B square. This is your answer for this third part, A cube plus 2 root 2 B cube. Okay, moving on with the next. Oh, these questions I have by mistake actually captured over here. Neither this, yeah, but we need to do this one for sure. The question says now A cube plus B cube plus A plus B. We are having four terms over here, right? So we can see that the first term, first part, A cube plus B cube, is actually relevant to what we are learning in this video. But we have got two extra terms, and this question belongs to factorization. So how do we start? We are going to apply the newly learned identity in the first two terms, right? So we have A plus B, and then we have A square minus AB plus B square plus A plus B. I am collecting them in a bracket. Now, just see, this is your first part, this is your second part. We haven't got the factors yet. If you see the whole expression, yes, we got the factors of the first two terms, but when we are talking about the whole expression, it is not yet factorized because of the presence of an addition in between. Okay, so what do we need to do? We still need to factorize. And how do we do that? A plus B, I can see we have got common over here, right? So I am going to take that out. And when I take that out, what I'm left with? A square minus AB plus B square plus 1, right? And when I took out A plus B, in place of that, I'm just left with 1, right? And do you see the factors? Yes. And do you see any further simplification possible? No, right? Everything is different. So guys, this is our final answer. Okay, moving on with the next. I have left the fourth portion and the sixth portion I'm leaving because it actually belongs to the next identity. And yes, I will be covering them in the next video. So moving on. Okay, yes. So here comes the star portion. The portion is again factorized. You will say that, ma'am, why is it a star portion? It is still factorized. Yes, it is factorized because if you see the portion, x cubed plus 3x square plus 3x minus 7. Can you factorize it directly by any identity as it is? No. What we need to do over here, there is a trick. So whenever we have to apply some trick which is out of the box, I call it a trick portion, right? And when it is a trick portion, I consider that as important and special because we need to remember the trick always, how to do that portion. So just watch it carefully before you try anything. Okay. The question says x cubed plus 3x square plus 3x minus 7. And how do we start? What I'm going to do over here, I'm going to add 1 and subtract 1. You can do these kind of things in various questions, not all of them, but whenever it is required. Because adding and subtracting keeps it still balanced. Balanced as in because see, I am not making any changes. 1 and 1 can be cancelled and we are still having our original question, right? So if you want that you need to change a number, you can add something, you can subtract same thing from the whole expression, right? But now, how do I actually work on it? X cubed plus 3x square plus 3x plus 1. I had added 1, I had subtracted 1. So I am shifting that positive 1 with the remaining terms and I am keeping minus 1 and minus 7 separately. Just see what I'm doing. I just mark them as two groups. Okay. Now, what does this first group actually recalls? This is basically A cube plus B cube plus 3A square B plus 3A b square. Okay. And what do we have on the left? This is minus 8. I have written the identity intentionally so that you can actually make it out that what it is going to be. So this is going to give me x plus 1 whole cube. And what do we have? 8. 8 is nothing but 2 cube, right? Right. So now what do we get? Again, this question is actually belonging to the next version of the identity, which is a cube minus b cube. But fine, I am doing it over here also because I have already explained it. So now what do we get? This is your a, this is your b cube. And what is the expansion of a cube minus b cube? I'm just writing it over here. It is a minus b into a square plus ab plus b square. Okay. So moving on with that, substituting it, x plus 1 minus 2. Because a is x plus 1, b is 2. So x plus 1 minus 2. Now in the second bracket, we get x plus 1 whole square plus x plus 1 into 2 plus 2 square. This is my second bracket, right? Now we can see the first bracket is getting simplified. 1 minus 2 can be simplified. Whereas in the second bracket, what we need to do, we need to actually expand x plus 1 whole square and multiply 2 with x plus 1, right? So I'm going to do that now. So we have x plus 1 minus 2. That gives me x minus 1, right? In the second bracket, we had x plus 1 whole square. So x squared plus 1 plus 2x. And after that, we are having 2 into x into, this is going to multiply, right? So that gives me 2x plus 2. And after that, we had 2 square. So that is 4, right? This is what we get. So what we are going to do, we are just going to simplify and we get x minus 1 as the first bracket. And the second bracket is x squared plus 4x plus 1 plus 2, 3, and 3 plus 4, 7. So this is what you have got, x squared plus 4x plus 7 as a part of your second bracket and x minus 1 as your first bracket. And yes, we can see we have got factors over here. So this quotient got factorized. I know it belongs to the next identity. By mistake, it was again listed over here in this list. However, I will re-explain this quotient if you want in the next video as well. But the start is crucial. These 2 steps are actually crucial. So do pause this video after watching this quotient and do attempt it. Okay. And yeah, soon you will be getting the next video as well, which is belonging to the identity a cube minus b cube. So do subscribe to the channel for more learning videos. Happy learning.